Yo, what is up with y'all, man? Welcome back to the Blessed Up Podcast. We are on episode number 2. I am so glad that y'all followed us. Y'all seen episode number 1, and now y'all are back for episode number 2, man. So you know what I'm saying? I am rocking the glasses that I just playing. I don't even know why I put those on, but I have an amazing and great guest tonight, you guys. This guy, man, it was my roommate in college, bro. He is he's a finance major, finance guru, man. First of all, he loves the Lord, of course. Of course, he's a giver. He's a helper. I mean, he's a student of the game for real, for real. He's an insurance broker. That's something major. And bro, I forgot how old you are, Sifon, bro, but I think you're 20.
21, 21.
He's 21, so he's one of the youngest in the game. And he owns one of the biggest rap pages in Atlanta. Y'all welcome up Mr. Sifon, owner of ATL Fans Only, of course.
How we
Yes,
doing? How we
sir.
doing?
Yes,
I like the
sir.
introduction, man.
How you
I
doing? Surely.
try not to laugh.
So,
you
did I get everything right to on the
said
introduction, bro?
what?
Did I get
Yeah, you
everything
got
right on the
everything right. This
introduction?
is 21. I'm 21.
Look it up. I knew you was younger than me, but you know what I'm saying? You ain't too
Yeah,
much younger than me for
for
sure, for
sure.
sure. But we're gonna go ahead and get into some icebreaker questions real quick. All right, so first things first, as y'all can see, as his title at the bottom it says ATL Fans Only. That is his rap page. Do you want to give a little introduction of your
Yeah,
rap
so
page?
ATL fans only. I'll just give like a kind of brief how it started. It was during COVID. A lot of people got their talents during COVID because we had nothing to do but
Mhm.
grow. Some people kind of
Literally.
stayed in that same area. Some people, took their talents and started something. I started this. Really didn't want it. Really didn't think of this big when I started it. Obviously, when I was thinking I'm just a 17-year-old kid, just during COVID, I'm bored at home. There's nothing to do. I started a page, started posting I think once every week, right? Kept going, turned into once every day, once every couple days, once every day, 2 times a day. Just kept going, but I never thought it was gonna be this big, as obviously as we kept getting bigger, I had more confidence, and that's why I want to tell a lot of people, as you get bigger, you're gonna get a lot of confidence. When you get more success, things are gonna get easier. It's not because you got better. Mostly, it's because you build more confidence in your ability. Like you always had it in you, but sometimes once you get more success, you start to see it. Once you start to see, you start to put it into action. You know, so yeah, that's exactly what I did. I put it in action, and at the end of 2023, I went all in. I was like, I'm gonna be the biggest out there, you know, and we're
Mhm.
on the pace to do that. Really, by May, before May, we're gonna be the biggest Atlanta rap page out there. Right now it's Atlanta Rap News. They blocked me. It's cool. We gonna go past that. You know what I'm saying? It's all love.
Literally. Bro, I'm sitting here. I got my phone where I
Uh-huh.
got the notes on. I made a comment under one of your
Yeah.
posts like the other day. People are
Still
still
commenting.
like
It's
reacting
my
and
my
commenting
followers are
days
crazy.
later.
Yeah, they don't stop. They don't
Literally,
stop. Like after the 100th reply, it starts to go to another topic. They're probably not even talking
literally
about your comment no more.
doing some crazy stuff. But okay, like you started Atlanta rap page, right? So if you had to do any other city other than Atlanta, what city would you do? And
um,
why?
I do Florida just because it's
Mhm.
it's relatively close, and most people in Atlanta, they're familiar with Florida more than any other
Yeah,
city, any other state. My fault. And also New
yeah.
York, California. Those are the states that are kind of like, when it comes to the rap scene, more people are involved in. Texas too. Texas
Surely,
too.
for surely.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
can't
Texas.
forget
Can't
about
forget about
Texas.
Texas.
Uh-huh.
For surely. And then also, say gonna make up a little scenario. it's your friend's first time in Atlanta. Say he's from like South
Yeah.
Africa or something like that. What are the three places you're taking them to get them like that experience of Atlanta? Just give them a little taste of Atlanta.
Three places. Oh, that's a good question. First, I'll take them to I'll take them to Insomnia Cookie. That's what
Okay.
you gotta go to.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm saying that's the
Gotta
food
go. Oh
side.
yeah.
I get the food side. Well, I only got one more food side. Definitely take them to a wing spot for sure. We have.
Oh,
I'm not.
please do.
I
Yeah.
don't mean to brag, but we got the best. If if not in
Definitely the
the
best.
South, we got the best in the country. Like when it comes to wings, when it
I
comes
believe in the world,
the
bro. I
world,
believe in
like
the
when it
world.
comes to wings, Georgia as a state, we have the best wings.
Oh, for
They come up with
surely.
so many
For
creative
sure.
flavors here. Like not even just Atlanta, but the whole state.
Oh
Man,
my
it's
goodness.
crazy. You had touchdown wings the other day.
Honey lemon pepper is amazing, bro. Oh my goodness. Y'all put in the comments y'all
And
favorite
I
wings if y'all are
think
from
like
Georgia.
with
Only that.
Atlanta, one thing I love about Atlanta, we're so creative. Like with anything we do, we're so
Yeah.
creative. You go to a lot of these food spots down there, and the creativeness is just off the charts. Even with
Yeah. Yeah.
fashion, we're always the ones making trends down here. When it comes to rap, when it
Oh,
comes to the culture, when we talk culture, we talk about us. We're talking about us, right? We innovate a lot of things. Not saying that other states don't. Like shout out to New York. They started a lot of things too.
mm,
But like as of now, like the 2000s, I think we have taken over New York. I think New York definitely had the
yeah.
90s when it came to that, like with all the Rockaware and all this Tim Boots,
Timber.
everything they had
Mhm.
that on lock. But for sure, right now, I think with the scene coming, and then also, man, you just got to go to a corporate building. There's a lot of good corporate buildings in
Mm,
Atlanta, so you just got to go out
yeah.
there and any building. Really, you can pick any building. Like I went inside a lot of corporate buildings, and they're very very well furnished, man. Like they're very creative.
Literally, because Atlanta also has the most black millionaires in the South. And Atlanta is also named the rap capital of the
Yup,
world too. So Atlanta's known, and it's really cool. How long have you been like in the Georgia
Georgia.
area
My
too?
my whole life, I was born in Alabama, but I was born on accident in Alabama, right? We didn't go there to
Mm,
live there, right? We went there, to visit their family. My mom ended up having me there, Opelika, and
wow,
then we went right back to Georgia, and that's where I was raised my whole life. Yeah,
wow, now that's crazy. Wow, that's actually
yeah.
great. I didn't even know that, bro.
Podcasts do that.
Uh, and then the last icebreaker question would be, what is your favorite post all time on ATL fans that you've
Man,
ever
that is so
created?
tricky. That is so tricky. I think my favorite post is what's my favorite post? It's one of my pin posts. I gotta go to it. Let me check it right now, and I'll just show y'all so y'all can go to it. But y'all probably seen this on your feed. Really, I be forgetting how big we are.
That's
But
literally,
I like this post.
literally. And it-
Blowing backs. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Yeah.
no,
That's the
for
most
real.
viewed one because essentially my page is focused on rap, but also I like
Mm,
how and I want to say this to a lot of creators that are getting in the game. A lot of creators need to understand that once you get to a certain threshold when it comes to like Instagram or any social media platform, you can start to bend the rules. Keep within the lines of what your page is, right? But also you can start
mm,
expanding a little bit more because once you set that core, once you got that core base, right? You kind of set that. Once you start gaining more followers, gaining more engagement, you can start posting things that may not have to do with your page, but they're people are gonna mess with it because they mess with the brand. So it's all about building that brand. That
Yeah.
brand is so important, right? Because it builds credibility, right? Because they know you're funny in this area. Let's try something new.
Mm.
You're gonna be funny in this.
That's so real, bro. No, that's so real. Yeah, we can go ahead and hop into the actual questions. Those questions were just a couple like icebreakers, but like kind of like what you were saying earlier, like kind of like what's your story, your upbringing? I know you said like you were born in an accident out in Alabama. Like what's like the beginning? Because I know you from Nigeria as well. So like whole transition to over here, like growing up over here, college, everything like that to this
Okay.
day.
So we're gonna. Where do you want to start? You want to start? Um, I'll start. Well, both my parents are Nigerian. They came over here. First they went to London. They stayed in London for a while, and then they came over to Georgia, right? And we had one thing about Nigerians, and I know my Nigerians, they can know, like, we know. I don't know how, but we connect with every Nigerian. Like, off rip, my parents came here, and we knew a lot of people that were already here, right? So we connected with people in Maryland, we connected with people in Alabama, we connected with all sorts of people. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And um,
Literally.
I grew up on street Shoreside Circle in Snellville. That's where I mostly grew up in, and also, just grew up in a kind of like it's like middle class, between middle class and poverty. Like, I don't know the gap, but I mean, it wasn't easy, right? I know a lot of people get on and tell their stories and say, "Oh, it wasn't easy." It wasn't really easy. I mean, growing up when you're a kid, it doesn't really feel like that, just because that's just how it is. Like, when you're growing up, you don't know what's broke, you don't know what's rich. You're just living life. And I feel like a lot of people need to get back to that roots where you're not really thinking about society and what people think about you, and just keep going with your life, right, without any other people's opinions. But yeah, that's mostly how I grew up. you know I went to Carrollton Middle School, right, because I went to Carrollton Middle School because my dad funny story, my dad wanted me to be able to watch over my sister, right, while she was in college, because he didn't trust her in college. So so you know we I went there for 2 years, just to really 1.5. Came right back down. I was a shot. Went to Shiloh High School, Shiloh Middle School. Grew up. I didn't. My parents weren't really there too much growing up. I was always alone in the house. I have two brothers, one sister. Um, so I was mostly in the house, but they were much older, so they were already headed off to college by the time I was already growing up, right? So mostly raised, like, by my neighborhood, right? So I would go to my neighbor's house, just because sometimes my parents didn't want me to be alone in the house. But when I got old enough, I started being alone in the house, so I had nothing to do. I just went out, played basketball, typical, thing. I didn't really experience. That's why some people might laugh, because I don't know certain movies, I don't know certain shows, I don't know certain things, because essentially I wasn't really in the house a lot. Most of the
That's
time,
real
I
though.
was outside, playing football, basketball, doing all sorts of stuff. Out there getting dirty. Came back home, hanging around with the wrong influences. Growing up, though, I would say I was hanging around a lot of older people. But like I said again, I'm a kid, so I don't know what's right and wrong. Really, I know what's right from wrong, but I really don't. If that makes sense, right? You don't really. Your brain is not fully developed, right? And as I'm getting older, I grew up in the church. I'm a strong Christian right now, but growing up, we're especially growing up in the church. We all know we really didn't want to wake up on Sunday morning. Right, as a kid, we didn't really want to go. Now, it's some kids, they may want to go, right, but it may not be for the right reasons, right? It might be just to have fun, which is good, right? Community is strong, but also that personal relationship with God is very important. So
Yeah.
obviously, like, growing up, nobody really knows themselves, let alone knows themselves in Christ, right? So growing up, just finding myself, you know, in church, forcing myself to go to church, and then going to college. As I going to college now, I have to grow up. I have to grow up as a man, and I want to be very independent.
Yeah.
Like I told you, Eric, multiple times. Like I was in my phase where I wanted to be very independent. Now, based on my story in the childhood, you can see I'm very independent. But when I'm going to college, I really want to be truly independent. Right? I don't want anything. A lot of times, my parents would put things over me, and just because like they would put shelter over me, a roof over my head, even my first car over me, things like that. And I wanted to be very independent. I love my parents to death, but that's the one aspect. We parents aren't perfect, and that's one thing. Growing up, you realize, we always look at parents as this hero, but essentially they're like us, man. Like we're flesh at the end of the day, right? Like we're not gonna be perfect, and in that area, they weren't perfect with that. But I still love them because we're all the same. I think who am I to judge?
Yeah. Yeah.
Proverb
Come.
says, "Who are you to judge?" Right? Who are you to judge your neighbor? Like I forgot what verse that was. I think it's like Proverbs 13, 14, something like that. But going back into it, like I said, I want to be independent. I got an apartment at 17 years old, Eric. Got an apartment
Yeah.
at 17 years old, man. I wanted to get out. I had to get co-signed,
Yeah.
obviously, right? And my
Mhm.
I had to get co-signed in, but still I was paying the bills. I didn't really get help with college. Everything was based on loans and me, so I had to get money somehow.
Yeah.
And I looked towards this rap page, and that's when I took the rap page serious
Yeah.
because I started getting a little money off of the promotions off of these rappers that would come to my DMs, and I would promote them.
Mhm.
And I was like, wait, I'm getting money for something I'm already gonna do, right? And I
Yeah.
got that
Really.
spark out of nowhere, and then I just started contacting a lot of rappers. A lot of rappers started contacting me, and all of a sudden, I'm making money in seconds. Like I'm posting,
Wow.
they give me content, and most of the time they make the content for me. So all I have to do is
Mm.
copy and paste the caption, get the content, because with the record labels, if y'all don't know, they want things a specific way. They have a marketing team,
Yeah.
and they want things
Mhm.
pushed a certain way. So
Mm.
I'm I'm doing is copy and pasting, putting the content together. Boom. That takes about 5 minutes. I'm in my car. Sometimes I'm in my car, I'm like about to crash, but I just made $75. So that just clicked.
Wow.
Like I'm making
Mhm.
$75 just while I'm driving. I go to the gas station, I spend it. Now this is before all I know about saving
Yeah.
and all and learn about
Yep.
business
Come
and
on.
all that. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get into all that. But
Oh man, Savon, bro. When I tell you, you probably already answered like at least like four of these
no,
questions I
no, no,
already
no,
had
no, no.
on
All
here,
right.
bro.
I'm a chill. I'm a chill. And I'm a chill. 'Cause I get carried
But yeah,
away.
I mean, like even let's slow it down a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
because you're
yeah. Let
giving a
me get
lot
let me
of
slow
game right
down. But
now.
that's
You're
my
giving a lot
life
of game
story.
right now.
I'm gonna continue on the life story of things.
But like I just love it though, because like you just see the passion just like all in it too. And it's like people who like grew up the same way that you grew up and they're like hearing your story and they're like, man, like that's what I need to hear. This is like a model that I can follow. This is somebody who's in the same shoes that I'm in that I can like see him being successful and like I can follow that model as well too. But going back to like what you said, like with Christ, where did you like first begin to like really kind of take your relationship with Christ seriously? Or like really try to really like just start understanding your relationship
Yeah,
with
so
Christ.
I kind of touched on it, but I didn't really go into details. So I'm glad you asked that question still because, you know, like I said earlier in high school and even the rest of my childhood, it felt like I was forced to go to church, right? I was in church just to
Mm,
go to church, right? I wasn't in church because
yeah.
my spirit needed to go to church, right? And like now, it was when I was entering college. I want to say beginning of sophomore year. That's when I really was trying to find God, right? I was going through like a lot of things, like relationship wise. I broke up with my ex. I mean, my ex broke up with me. Going through a lot of things, right? Family, like crisis, a lot of things, trauma, things like that. A lot of things. I feel like I was going through a midlife crisis. Like what was it,
Yeah.
19, 20? Right. So a lot of things. I mean, my
Yeah.
best friend
Yep.
died. My uncle died. A lot of things that happened caught up to me because one thing is men, we like to, you know what I'm saying, we
Yes.
don't deal with feelings like how females do, we
Yeah.
just move on with our day, and that stuff builds up
Yeah.
behind us. So, and I'm glad
It does.
it
Yeah.
didn't happen. I didn't deal with that at a later age, right? I dealt with it at about
Mm.
20, right? So all that stuff's happening, boom, everything's on me. I feel like everything, my world's just crashing down. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. And when you don't know who you are, it's very easy to lean on Christ. It's very easy to
Yeah.
lean on Christ.
Mm.
If you go to the Bible, when you look at stories in the Bible, there are always people that have sinned. It's always people at their
Mm.
last. It's always people that God reached out to. They're always their back is against the wall. There's nothing for them to. There's nothing. They have nothing, right? And usually that's when God comes in and is like, "Here, you're my son. Come take." And that's how I felt. That's how I felt when I was a sophomore. I think it was sophomore beginning of first semester sophomore year. I was just in my room. I was on the edge of the bed, and you know, I didn't know what to think. Like, and I just heard my mom, right? And I feel like even growing up in the church was very important because if my mom wasn't there, I wouldn't have leaned to nothing. I would have leaned to the world
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
to get saved, right? For my situation, right? And I said the born sinner prayer like twice before, but just because you say it doesn't mean like you really mean it, right? So like before
Yeah.
I was born again, I born again twice. I said the prayer twice before I even got to all this. But I was on the edge of the bed. Going back to the story, I was on the edge of the bed, and I was just like, bro, like I don't even know what I want to be. I don't even know who I am.
Mm.
I don't know who. I don't know what direction I'm trying to take. Like even though like a lot of things were going good in my life, but there's a lot of things like in the like past is building up over time. So
Yeah.
I'm good finan. The thing is, like a lot of things I deal with isn't financially. Like a lot of stories you kind of hear is mostly financially based. But for me, I don't really care too much about like money. I don't really care too much about money. It's all about like relationships I build. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of bed, like who I want to be, like what's my vision, and like what do I want to become? What's my why? Like why am I here? Right? What's my path? And spoiler alert, nobody nobody knows their path. Only God does.
Mm. Amen.
So
Now.
I'm looking for a path with my own sense. But what does the Bible say? And I know you can finish and lean on him. Lean on if
All
we're
your
if
understandings, and don't rely on your
lean on you, not
understandings.
even understand this. You don't know your path, and you shouldn't waste your mind thinking about your path. That's God's
Yeah.
ordeal.
Yeah.
That's God's job, right? You're not supposed to worry about
Amen.
tomorrow. You're supposed to focus on today.
Mm.
What's going on? In Matthew
Matthew
6,
6.
you're not supposed to look at
Mhm.
you're not supposed to look forward to the future. And that's what I had during that time. I had a lot of anxiety, right? Because I was looking too much in the
Yeah.
future. I was thinking too hard, right? And
Mm.
why would I think so much on the future and I don't know the future was to come, right?
Yeah.
So
Literally.
there's God is up there. Now I know a lot of new Christians. They play with this word God. They play with religion and all that. Man, I lean on Jesus. Jesus Christ Nazareth,
Come on.
the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords,
Come
the
on.
Lion of the tribe of Judah, sitting on the right hand side of the throne. You know what I'm saying? He's the
Come on.
author and the finisher of our faith. So what does that mean?
Faith. Yeah.
He is
Literally.
the author and the finisher of faith.
Come on. Mm.
Why would I lean on my own understanding when he already knows my end?
Come on. Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
Preach.
So I'm on the
Literally.
edge of the bed, just leaning on my own understanding when I can just lean on
Mm,
on a whole bigger thing that I can't even put to words. And people try to understand God. You can't understand God. No matter how much we read the Bible,
yeah.
we were truly never able to understand Jesus Christ because
Oh
he's
man.
such a
Yeah, that's real,
higher
bro.
he has knowledge that you won't even know. We call it knowledge today,
Mm,
but he has something that we can't even understand. That's just beyond our thinking
literally.
because he made us like him, right? We can be able to reach levels, right, that are closer to what anything the devil's workers are doing. But the thing is, we still have to lean on his understanding because he has something that's way bigger than us. So as I'm
Yeah.
on the edge of my bed, I can know I keep going back to it. I have this, I don't know what it said, but God spoke to me, right? He was it's
Mm.
like it's not I didn't hear his voice, but it was like, yo, God. It's like, and then I don't know what made me say it. I just started praying. And I got down on my knees, I started crying. And I was like,
Wow.
God, please. And that's all it takes. And I didn't say
Wow.
anything
Yeah.
else. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to I knew how to pray somewhat, we know how to say, God, please help me for this nourishment. Now, we know how that's our food, but we don't know how to pray. We don't really
Yeah.
truly know how to pray, right? The Bible teaches us how to
Yeah.
pray.
Yep. And even the Holy Spirit too, like it says the Holy Spirit will intercede for you. Like you don't even know what you need to pray. It's like sometimes when I pray, it's like words that I'm things that I'm not even thinking of. It's like just flows out of me. Like just the Holy Spirit like knows me. Like nobody
Yeah.
knows me like God
And that's why
knows
I
me.
tell
Like literally my
sorry, you
deepest
said what? Keep going.
heart. I was saying like he just knows like my deepest desire. He knows my heart. He knows what I actually need.
Exactly. And a lot of people try to pray
Mm,
from their brain, right? A lot of people try to think
yeah.
of what to pray. And if you have to really think of what to pray, you're not praying from the heart. Because growing up, I used to. I remember I used to go to like white churches and things like that. No shame to white churches and stuff like that. But a lot of them would pray, and you can tell they're thinking hard. Some of them they actually talk like that in real life, and I commend them. That's how they talk. That's from the heart. But some of them I know they change their language to because they feel like obviously God is like a parent, right? You want to treat him with respect. Obviously, you don't want to curse
Yeah.
at him while you're praying. But there's another respect level where
Mm,
you can talk to him as a friend because he's
yeah.
our only true friend, right? He's up there
Mm,
wanted us to come to him and just how we talk come to our friends when we need, you know, we have to come to him, right? And at the end of
yeah.
the day, the
Literally.
beginning of the day, that's what we need to do. Like throughout the day, just pray to him, talk to him, have a regular conversation. And that's what I did. And you
Yeah.
know, as I as and I want to talk to the Christians out there, man. Christians, you don't need to learn how to pray. There's no way. There's a way in the Bible that teaches you how to pray, but that just use that as a foundation. What you really need is the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit, right? You need the
Amen.
Holy
Come on.
Spirit to lean because we don't know what we need, right? Only God knows what we
Yeah.
need. If He knows our path, then obviously He knows what we need
Mm. He knows what we need
to
exactly.
get
He's
to
gonna
the
supply it as well
finish.
too. Because obviously he wouldn't have done it if it was like, oh, you can't. Like he's like, oh, EJ, I need you to get to California, and I don't got a car. It's like, well, I ain't got a plane ticket either. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get there. Like he said I'm gonna be there. He said it, this is what I'm supposed. My plan is supposed to be. So obviously he's gonna provide a way for me to get
Yeah,
there as
because a lot
well
of
too.
a lot of
So
stories in the
just
Bible say that too. Like even a lot of stories in the Bible will say, okay, God would just come to the disciple and be like, "Do this," and then the disciple would be like,
mm,
"Yo, but how am I gonna do this? This seems impossible." You talking about leave my kingdom? We're talking about
mm,
Job. You talking about leave everything, leave my family? We talk about Abraham, kill my
mm,
son. What?
yeah,
Like
mm,
what do you mean, guy? And we don't know. Like it's our understanding is very limited, and we think we know a lot, but we don't. Right? And that's why we
literally.
have to lean on him,
It,
because he's gonna be like, go to California, but you don't have a car, but you don't have a
mm,
gas, but you don't need to worry about that because once you once you
literally,
put the
bro.
effort to move your feet, like the Bible says, right?
Come
All you
on,
have to do is
literally.
move your feet. God's gonna figure out a way, you know. And you
Amen.
guys can go watch the Steve Harvey story. That's exactly what God told him. God told him to get to New York somehow, and he got there. And he did his first comedy show.
Mm,
He was the last performance. He killed it, and that's how he started. But if he didn't move his feet, he would have never been
wow.
become Steve Harvey. But a lot of times we're
Amen.
thinking of so much about ourselves, right? And we're thinking about, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? You don't need to know how to do this, right? All you have to do
Yeah.
is put the effort, move your feet, and God is going to handle the rest. You
Yeah.
know, because
Amen.
when we're moving in life, we try to think too much about our strength, right? Right? But the Holy Spirit gives us strength to do everything. We're supposed to lean on Him for strength, understanding, wisdom. Like, we're supposed to lean on for everything, and that's what people need to understand, right? Instead of worrying about all the extras when you're praying, right? When you're praying, you need to lean on the Holy Spirit because He knows what you truly need. And while you're over here asking for Lamborghinis, you're asking for the Birkin bag.
Come on.
God God knows
Come
that you're not
on.
going to need that on your path to wealth. God knows that if you
Come
buy that
on.
Birkin bag, you got more expenses in your budget. Go back to Proverbs, zero based budget,
Come on. The
in
assets
your
column, the
expenses
expenses
column.
column, like,
And when you get mad, you throw a hissy fit when you don't have it, right? But then it ends up you see more blessings when without it. But the thing is, God will give what you ask. God will give what you desire, right? We have a free we have that's the thing, we have free will. A lot of Christians kind of get a lot of people, like, they don't believe in Christianity. They think don't have free will. We have free will to do whatever we want. We can
yep,
go this way when God's
yep,
telling us to go this way.
yep. Look at
But when we
Jonah.
follow God, we have no choice but to go this way, because if we go
Mm.
that way, we're going into nothing but destruction. But
Yep, it's two
the thing
paths.
is though, with that, it's a lot of people right here. It's a lot of people.
Yeah,
But this
yeah,
place is gonna look fun. This place is gonna look it's gonna have a lot of sheep, right? But guess what?
mm,
Sheep in wolves clothing. It's gonna look
mm,
so good. This place is not gonna look
mm,
good. It's gonna look very daunting. You see a forest that's dark. You go into it, it's not gonna be nothing but light. But you go into this forest,
mm,
this you see nothing but light. You go into it, you see demons and all sorts of things. But a lot of people,
mm.
they're thinking about the now, so they go to that other
Yeah.
direction instead of going right here for that short term, and God is going to handle the rest.
Yeah, that's so real, bro. And I'm even like just applying that to business as well. To like, I see like even in my walking business, like it's so much faith in it. Like it is so much faith in it because it's like you're literally taking steps and you just don't know what's gonna happen next, or you're taking so many risks and you don't know what's gonna happen next. But it's like it's just such a high level of faith, especially like just being a follower of Christ as well. Too, it's like, man, God said He was gonna supply all of my needs. God said that He was gonna direct my path. He's the author and finisher of my faith. And it's like, man, some days it's like, man, I can take this money risk. I can take this risk, go do this, that. And like you saying with Steve Harvey, like, oh, get to New York. Like, God, the one thing about God will give you the destination, but He won't
Uh-huh.
tell you how to get there, though. He will say, just
But
go to New York. I'm like,
how could you build your
well,
faith like
what's
that?
the money?
How that's why people like
Mm,
are confused. Like, why does God act like that? Is He just trying to be one mysterious
yeah,
person? No. A lot of
mm,
times he puts obstacles on purpose to test our faith.
yeah,
If you really believe in something, like, say Amazon, for example. If once you really believe
mm,
in Amazon, once you put your money into Amazon, you're gonna get that within 2 days.
literally,
Why do we
yep,
have so much belief in something that we don't know about? right? This is something that we're just trusting based on other people. We're just trusting this based on the world that this is going to deliver, quite literally deliver to us, right? But we can't trust God to deliver, right? So
Come on now. Come on now. Do we got more faith in things that we got in God?
we
Like,
have so much faith in the world and in the world in delivering and the promises, right? But we don't have faith in God delivering what we actually need, right? And not Amazon or Timu, right? We
that's
that's gonna give us short term happiness, but we
like,
can't lean on something that's gonna deliver us to be, eternity, be happy for eternity. Like,
mm,
sometimes things just don't make sense. But that's the thing with God, you know, we it
it
doesn't
don't
always
always
make
make
sense
sense. It always
because
gotta make sense.
our
Yeah.
our human sense is not God's sense. So of course
Yeah.
it's not gonna make sense.
Yeah, literally, like, go to New York. That doesn't make any sense. But as you put feet to faith, he starts putting people in your path. He starts opening doors. He starts allowing things to have blessings to happen. And it's like, I'm here now. I understand the reason why I'm here. Oh, on the way here, I met this person. Now I understand why I met this person. I went through this trial on the way here. Now I understand why I went through that trial. So I can stay, not just to get me here, but I can stay here
Yep.
and elevate while I'm here. Like, man, that's good, bro. That's really good, bro. And then another question, like for you, like I know you're
Yes.
finance major, right? What made you kind of like get into that journey of like a financial journey? Like what made you really want to get into
Okay.
finance?
Um. Well, I didn't come into school a finance major. I know you know this story, but I was
Hmm.
actually gonna be in biology, right? So I came in doing biology because I wouldn't say I wanted to, but as I know my Nigerians know, our Nigerian parents, they always, even it's an immigrant thing. We either have to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, high profession,
Mm,
nothing
yeah,
else, right? But and I'm glad my parents grew and like kind of understand like where I was coming from, and
yeah,
obviously, like, I got what they're understanding. They're trying to be safe, and a lot of things they learn is because of, like, they came to America. They really that's all they know. Like, they want us to be successful,
yeah.
right? They don't know what they're coming into. So I came in. I just chose to be the orthopedic. I literally looked up what makes the most, and it was
Be like
like
that. Okay.
orthopedic surgeon, and I was like, sign me up,
They do make
right?
a lot.
As I'm
Literally.
in the walk with my faith, man, like, you soon to realize, like, money doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't
Yeah.
mean it. Are you willing to trade your life for money instead of trading
Come
money
on.
for life?
Oof,
What
a freaking
like
bar, bro.
a lot of people go into these fields not really wanting to do it, right? They're doing
They just see
it.
the dollar
A lot
sign.
of it, I was doing it because my parents, right? Especially immigrants, we're doing it because of our parents, right? So essentially, we're doing it because of somebody else's dream, right? Instead of finding a dream for us, right? Because a lot of times, like, what we need to do is find what we like, what God wants us to do, right? Is not going to be what the world wants us to do, right? So,
Yeah,
the,
literally.
to answer your question more specifically, I came in like that. I'm a research guy. So anything I get into, I'm doing a
Mm,
lot of research before I might do a month's worth of research before I
yeah.
start anything. Insurance, me becoming an insurance broker, I researched it for a month.
Mm,
Me doing this page, I started doing research on other blogs. Like, before I even got serious with it, I started doing research. Just make sure, like, bro, is it
hmm.
profitable? I started
Yep.
pocket watching, like, what I'm saying? I started pocket watching
Hey,
academics.
count the cost
Say
of
cheese.
building a
Yeah, you
tower.
got to know. You got to know where you're going.
Literally.
And I started researching
Mhm.
being an orthopedic surgeon and the biology, and I was like, no. First,
No cap.
you guys know how I grew up. I was
Mm,
alone at home a lot. I love people, but I don't like people. Right? It's a
yeah,
difference.
it's the
It's a
same,
difference. I
same.
love people. I just don't like people because
Mm,
once I go out, I can I love y'all, I love y'all. But once everything is over, I need me. I need some me time. That's
that's
my
my
time with me
time.
and
That's my
God, and that's
time.
my time with me. You know what I'm saying? Just myself. I can have fun by myself. A lot of people need to
Yeah,
find themselves to truly have fun with themselves.
that's
A lot
good.
of people need to
That's
stop
good.
leaning on other people to truly have fun, right? A lot of people just need to find something, and you can find that easily through hobbies. Like, find something through productiveness. Get into stocks. Get into something that's productive. Like, I'm not saying play
There you
video
go.
games or nothing, but like I'm saying, like, get into something that, maybe a business, something that you can do that's just you working at it and you working against the world. So that's something I would, give advice to people. But after that, I'm thinking, I'm just saying all that. Like, I grew up, I was the candy man of the neighborhood. Candy man of I remember my brother when he came down from Maryland, first thing I do was sell him candy. I'm like, I barely grew up with my oldest brother, but I knew I was gonna sell him something because I'm like, hold on, because the rest of my family, my sister, is a pharmacist. My brother, he's a gastroenterologist, right? So they go on to do that. So I'm like, I'm about to sell him. Like, this is a good prospect. He's a doctor. He's a good prospect, and that's all I'm thinking. And
Get the
when we're
kid.
when we're when we're getting older, right? When we're growing up, right? We're not thinking about assets over liabilities. We're not thinking about that. We're not thinking of no
Mm,
expenses and income. We're not thinking about that. We're just thinking about
mm,
money and what is it gonna take to get that money. You know what I'm saying? And
living
that's your
it. Yep.
expenses and your income, right? So as
Hmm.
I'm growing up, I'm already doing all these accounting principles. I'm already following all these accounting. I'm already following all these finances, right? And so I'm doing this innately. Like, I'm putting together
Mm,
my expenses. I'm getting out the calculator on my phone. I'm putting together.
yep.
I'm timesing the candy I get. And I'm already forecasting what I'm gonna make before I even make it. So I'm buying Sour Patch Kids.
Wow.
I'm buying the watermelon ones. Everybody,
Ah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
buying Hot Cheetos.
That thing's
Everybody
butts
used to
too,
like the
though.
Hot Cheetos. Little kids, they look at the freaking bread. They love
Hmm.
that. So I'm buying those, but I buy in bulk, right? And so I get
Mm,
to
yep.
I get to buy I get to make $1 out of 25 cents, right? So I'm already doing the math for
Mm,
it, and then all of a sudden I just stopped that. COVID happened, and I kind of lost me. I lost, like, who I was, right? And
yeah.
going when I found God, I went back to, like, who I was, and so I ended up changing my major the
Mm,
first week of college. The first week of college, I changed my
wow.
major because I'm doing research, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do, and I'm looking up the day in the life. I'm looking at these surgeons, and I'm like, yo, this is not what I want to do. I'm looking at the whole medical field. I'm looking at everything, and then I remember I just had this talk with my mom on the way to the financial aid department, and I'm just like, I tell my mom I can't do it, and then it was like a sigh in her voice, just like, I knew this was gonna happen. I don't know what it was, but it was just like a sigh in her voice. It's like I was expecting this because the way I talk is
Yeah.
business minded. I'm always trying to sell somebody something.
Mm.
I'm always. It's like in me. I'm a natural seller. I'm not a buyer. I'm a natural seller. So that's
Mm,
always in me, and I'm always learning how to do finance. So I'm like, it was either accounting or finance, right? And I was like, I don't want to escape people. So I'm already doing research on
yeah,
accounting,
that
and
makes
I
sense.
see they don't get to interact with a lot of people. That they deal with numbers, right? Obviously, they're dealing with people's numbers, but they're not really interacting with people, right? And I was like, and I look up some professions and okay, I can do this. This has at least has something to do with people, right? But it's not it's not the focus isn't people. I can do something like that because I still like need it, you know, I still like people. I still like networking. I still like doing that, right? So I was like, let me get into finance. And that's how I chose that major, you know. I didn't really know too much about it, but
That's
you know, I love it now. You
that's
know, I
good
can't
though. Literally. And it's reaping too, bro. I would say even just being like a fight, and that's good for anybody like in college right now that's like in that situation right now. Like you pick the major and you like even me, like when I came into college, I picked sports management because I thought like I just wanted to, you know what I'm saying, go to NBA games, go to NFL games and maybe some MLB games and all that. But I really didn't like it, you know what I'm saying? And I realized that like I have a clothing brand. Why am I not doing something that's helping me grow in
exactly.
my clothing brand? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's really good for like anybody who's like in college right now or like about to head to college and it's gonna go ahead and pick a major. But also like even just like switching your major to finance, what have been like some of the fruits that like you received like just from switching your major over to finance? Some things you've gained.
Man, man, you know this, Eric, man, I'm a giver. I'm a giver, man. I aspire y'all, everybody that's watching this, man, read the book Go Giver, right? This is
Mm,
gonna explode your mind, right? On what it means to give. You know, a lot of times people think that when you give, you're subtracting your expenses, man. People think when you give, it's subtraction. When you give, it's exponential, right?
yeah.
Because human math isn't God math. And going back to
Come
leaning
on.
on your own
Literally.
understanding, right? And your own understanding tells you that giving is gonna decrease your income, decrease your, you know, expand your expenses, right? But in the Bible
Mm,
says if you give, you're gonna reap the benefits, and it's gonna be exponential.
yeah.
It's not gonna be
You give it
I
back to
give
you.
$1, right? Obviously, you give with your heart, but if you give $1, and the rule of
Yeah.
thumb is to give 10%, you know, we know that, you know, give.
Yeah.
God says in
Tithing.
Proverbs, you know, you're gonna give 10 cents out of $1. You know what I'm saying? What that means is
Mm,
10%. So you want to give at
yeah.
least 10%, but give with your heart. Some months I might do,
Yeah.
sometimes I might do 20%. You know, but the more you give with
Mm,
your heart, the more God's gonna bless you exponentially. Because
that's real.
I can tell you, hasn't been subtracting.
Yeah.
I
No,
can tell you for
literally.
sure it hasn't been subtracting.
No,
I only been reaping benefits. I only been reaping benefits. So
literally.
I don't even look at it as an expense. I don't even put it in the expense column.
Mm,
Giving is something that is essential. And people think giving
yeah.
is only just financial, though, right? Giving isn't
Mm,
financial. Giving is washing your roommate's dishes. Giving
come on.
is giving knowledge and not holding in knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Giving is okay, a nice gesture to your mom, you know, when she doesn't even expect it. No, giving isn't
Yeah.
just money. Giving is life. It's a lifestyle, you know. So when you
Yeah.
have a giving mentality, and a good way to start
Mm,
is financially, because a lot of times we hold on to
yeah.
money, but if we can let go of it
Yeah.
and trust God, is our everything,
Mm,
all the
that's
areas of our life is going to be given. And I'm telling you, there's no better feeling in this world
literally
than to
and
give.
giving.
Just in,
Yeah. I rather give than
exactly because
receive.
it just to internally, right? Internally, you're going to feel so fulfilled in life. Because
Yeah.
if you're looking for like what why am I here? It's giving. You're here to give. We're here to multiply, and we're here to give. You know, and you know, like we give our when we have children, we give it on to the world, right? It's a blessing onto the
Mm,
world. That's why you should treat your children
yeah.
as such, because it's a blessing, right? A lot of people are dealing with a lot of
Yeah.
fertility problems. You know, a lot of people can't have babies. A lot of people need
Yeah.
other people to have babies for them as a substitute. You know, I
Yeah.
forgot the word for it. I think it's secretary. I forgot how to say it. But it's something like that. But you know, that's what I learned about finances, and that's what like the concept of finance, the concept of money, because finance, the world. Well, when I go to college, obviously they're not talking about that, right? But one professor I did
Mm,
have was talking about giving, right? It opened my eyes because I
mm,
was giving before, but it was like $1, $5 here and there, when I feel good, right? But that's when I
yeah,
feel good, not heart.
yeah,
So, like, as I'm going
mm,
in, I have a whole different mindset of what money is, right?
yeah,
And you know, when we have a transformation, right? And the book 10, you guys need to read the book 10x versus 2x. When you have a
mm,
transformation, you're multiplying your life by multiples. But if you
mm,
just work harder and lean on your own understanding, you can only go so far. That's 2x.
yeah,
You can work two times
mm,
harder, but you can't work 120 hours a week. You're gonna only
yep,
get 3 times. You're gonna get maybe 4 times your results. But is it worth it? And maybe you can't even
literally,
get that many hours. It's
literally, and that both of those things are limited. Like our physical strength and just time in
limited.
general is limited too.
So
Mm,
that's me going into finance. I'm doing it. Most of it was me going in it to learn more about money, right? And I'm glad I did it because it's just helped me learn more. Okay, this is what money is, right? And I didn't learn it from professors. I learned it was like a foundation to learning more about money, right? And
mm,
it makes perfectly well with me growing with God because it's like I'm learning about money. And if y'all don't know, the Bible says the Bible talks about money so much,
so
and
much.
people try to
Mm-hmm.
avoid it. We can go further into that.
Hmm. Literally, I'll go ahead deeper on that.
Want me to go deeper into
Go ahead and go
that?
deeper on that.
A
Please
lot of
do.
people, man, they have a bad concept of money, right?
Mm,
And it keeps them poor, right? And a lot of
yeah.
people have this mentality, and it comes from the verse. A lot of people, if they really don't want something, right? If they really don't want something, they'll make an excuse for it, right? If they want something, they'll find a way, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of people, when they see money, right, they go back to the verse of money is the rule of all evil, right? And a lot of
Hmm.
people do this across a lot of religions, not even just Christianity, Muslim. You see ISIS of how they misinterpreted their religion, right? But also they
Mm,
misinterpret Christianity the most, right? So a lot of verses they get taken out of context because they want their own
yeah.
context to it. They want it to apply
Yeah.
to their life. They don't want to know the truth.
Yeah.
So they're gonna chop up some verses, put it together, and be like, "But the Bible says like no," but they don't have the true context of what happens before that and what happens after that. You have to have a full context,
Mm.
a story. You have to read the full chapter to really see. It says the love of money is the root of all evil,
That's- Come on,
right?
that's good. Yep.
The love of money. So the love of money is an action. It's not money
Mm,
itself, right? It's
right.
a, it's the love of money, right? So it's the action. It's
Mm,
the person. It's not money itself. Money is a great tool. That's why the Bible teaches, and it's
exactly.
the
We
most
need it.
powerful
Literally.
tools, right? Besides the Bible, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying? But money is
Whoa.
one of the most powerful tools. That's why he talks about it so much, so we don't use it to destroy
Mm,
ourselves. Because just like a
right.
sword, I
Exactly.
like to bring up the sword analogy because, like a sword, right? A swordsman can either wound himself with his sword or use it to protect his family, right?
Mm,
Same with money. Money is like a sword. If you can't use it right,
mm.
you're gonna be flopping that thing over. Like any sword, if there's any swordsman out there, I doubt there is. But if you don't know how to use a sword, you're gonna cut yourself. Same thing with money.
Yep.
If you don't know how to become a swordsman, a businessman, a true businessman, you don't know how to use that money to be able to do good. because you can protect your family, do good with a sword, but you can also wound yourself if you don't know how to use that tool.
Mm,
So that goes back. That goes
yeah.
back into money and people not knowing how to use money, right? And a lot of people like to use that as an excuse to why they don't want to do something that they want to do. They use that as an
Mm,
excuse to why they don't want to start that business. They use that as an
yeah.
excuse to why they don't want to quit their job. They use that as an excuse
Yeah.
to stay at the level that they are, and they stay in poverty
Mm,
because they use another verse, the camel on I'm not even gonna say it because everybody knows it. The needle back, right? It's easier
hmm.
for a poor man to get into heaven, right? They always say that because they always need an excuse to why they don't want to level up. And I want to ask every Christian one question: why would God want you to be broke?
Mm,
How are we supposed to give if we don't have money? And
yeah.
I'm not saying, like I said earlier, it's not all about finances, but you can't help these people in the hurricane without money. People down here really
Literally,
suffering,
bruh.
and what are you gonna do? No, get
Mm,
better. Like, no, we prayer is one thing, but
literally.
also we have to move our feet. We have to help these people down here, and it's gonna take money to
Yeah.
get their power back on. Get money to fix
Exactly.
these generators.
Exactly.
And so why would God
Hmm.
want his people to be broke and do these things out there without money, right?
Mm,
And a lot of people kind of get in that sort of mindset because they need an excuse to why not to move their feet. They need an excuse. God talks about abundance all the time.
yeah.
Why can't we reap that? Because the devil's warriors are obviously reaping that, and we're fighting a spiritual battle all the time.
Yeah.
So why would he want us to be losing that? Because the devil
Mm,
uses his money to market. The devil uses his
yep.
money with finances. He does everything that God does,
Hmm.
but the opposite. He uses it for evil.
Yep.
He's the antichrist. He uses everything
Yeah.
for evil. God uses everything for good. So he wants our people to
Right.
have the most in this world to give these kids scholarships, to give these kids to
Literally.
start foundations, to be able to help these kids in Africa, to be able to help these kids in India that are poor. You know, the devil's army isn't doing that. They're using their money
Yeah.
to molest children. They're using their money to have
Mm,
these. You see what's happening with Diddy, right? They're using their money in
yep.
different ways. Why would God want us? Why would God not want us to have that sort of power to use it for good, right?
That's so
And a
good.
lot of people that say that are then hypocrites because they're working 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week, 120 hours a week for what?
Money.
So you're trading your life, family time. You're
Mm,
missing your kid's softball game. You're missing crucial time with your wife, Bible study. Time with God. Hello, because you want what? Money. So who's
money.
really right in this circumstance? We're trying to
Mm,
trade our money for life, but people are trading life for money, and they call us bad
come on.
because I want to get to a point where I'm only working 2 hours a week, and the rest of the week I'm spending with God. But you can't do that
Amen.
if
Come on.
you're working minimum wage at a job and you have to be there to be able to support your
Yeah.
family. So that's why I try to tell Christians, man, don't believe what the world is saying because what the world is saying is 100% always gonna lead
Right.
you to hellfire. It's gonna lead you to the wrong path, right? So that's another thing I want to get. I know I got off, but it was a good tangent, but that's why I gotta get preachy. But yeah,
No.
sometimes a lot of people, we do things that are backwards. But guess what?
Mm,
What's the devil? He's backwards. He's everything that Christ is backwards.
Mm. Man, and it's crazy that we're giving out all this for free,
Everything's
bro. Like
free,
this,
man.
this is man, this is man, this and then it's very applicable to life right now, bro. Like, whew, that's some
Yeah.
game. That's some heat. That is really some heat right there, bro. Um, goodness gracious, nah, that was fire, bro. Okay, so just the three biggest books that you've like really shaped your mindset. What are the three biggest books that kind of shaped your mindset?
Besides the Bible, um,
Come on,
the Bible is
Lit-
definitely the most important book you're gonna need. You know,
right?
just off of if you all you read is the first chapter of Genesis, you're good because off rip,
Yep. God's first commandment to
off
man.
rip, he explains everything that you need to know. But God
Yep.
gives us instructions to our path in the Bible. He gives the instructions to everything we need in this life. Right? It's the only book that does that. Right? Because
Yeah.
there's other books
Would
that
agree.
I'm going to recommend you on, but it only gives instructions to certain areas in your life, right?
Yeah.
Which is all these
Literally.
books are important, right? But a lot of these books follow the understanding of the Bible. They just go more
Mm.
into the worldly details, right?
Yep.
But this is three books I have besides the Bible though, that I want everybody to read. 10x is easier than 2x. That's the first book I want everybody
Mhm.
to read. Um, No Excuses. It's another book.
Mm.
And another book I want everybody to read is The Miracle Morning. The Miracle Morning
Mm.
is
Yeah.
one of the best books I have read. It's gonna transform your life. And going back, so
Mm.
10x easier than 2x is something I explained earlier. Is basically what I said earlier, man. Like you're not gonna get anywhere working two times harder. And
Mm.
also where are you putting your work? Are you putting your work two times harder into a job at McDonald's, or are you putting your work
Mm.
two times harder into a business that's gonna reap
Yeah.
you benefits? You can't get too far at McDonald's. You gotta have wisdom. God put us on this earth to have wisdom. You can't the only thing you're gonna get as far as you might get a manager, and what are you gonna really do? You gotta really think. What are you getting? What do you want for your life? And is that what you want for your life? Right? Because all we have to do is ask God what we desire. He will give us everything. He will give us everything. But that's a book. No excuses. It says in the title. No
No excuses.
excuses. A lot of people, and that's why I kind of came to that conclusion. A lot of people make excuses for why they don't want to start something, why they don't want to end something, and they always make excuses, and that leads to procrastination, right? And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Procrastination is going to be the destruction of your destination. Like you're not going to be able to get there. It's going to hold you back, right? And a lot of
Lit-
people procrastinate with jobs. A lot of people procrastinate
Mm.
with relationships. They hold off love
Yep.
with a substitute of a relationship with somebody they don't want to be in, but they just want to be there for the time being. A lot of people do that with jobs. They don't want to start that business because they have an excuse of a job, right? It's something that everybody does. It's something that's not frowned upon, right? And the path that everybody's going is most likely the path that's going to lead you to destruction. Right? It's going to lead you
Yeah.
to where you don't want to be. So that's one book. Another book that's very important is The Miracle Morning. The Miracle Morning is going to help you put more time to your day. The Miracle
Yeah.
Morning, I wake up at 5 a.m. every day because of this book.
Mm.
Now, some people that's 4 a.m.ers, salute to you. I'm going to get there soon. But for right now, 5 a.m. is something good because I used to wake up at 10 a.m. on average. So just putting that to numbers, you have 5 extra hours in your day. Going back to that book,
Mm.
everything, all these books tie together. You're not supposed to just read a book
Yep.
and read it isolated. You're supposed to connect all these ideas and apply it to your life. You have no excuse
Literally.
not to get closer with God if you have 5 extra hours in your day. You have no excuse
Come
not to
on.
journal if you have 5 extra hours in your day. You have no excuse not to go to the
Come
gym
on.
and get your body right if you have 5 extra hours in a day, right? 5 hours, right, times 365 days in a year. Do the math.
8.
1,825 hours in a year. Divide that by 40. That's 45 work weeks. That's 45 work weeks because you wanted to sleep in just a little bit. And I know it feels good in the moment. It feels good to just, let
Mhm.
me snooze for just a little bit. What harm will it do? But I want to tell all Christians, what is that telling God? Are
Mm.
you really grateful for life? If you are you're putting off the day? If- God gave you another day to live, and you're like, uh, God, I know you gave me another day to live. Can I just take minus that by 4 hours, 5 hours? Let me go back to sleep. Hold off all my problems and think that's gonna hold off procrastinate life. Right, whole time you're destroying your life because you wake up, you feel rushed, you feel like everything you have to catch up on
Mm.
everything.
Yep.
Right, you have to catch up on everything, but
Yep.
and people think that's good. It's not good because if you have 5 extra hours, that's a lot of the morning time is going to be your most productive time. I don't care about what the night hours say.
Always.
The night
Yep.
owls say. I don't care. The nighttime is not a good time to work. The morning time is the best time to be productive. And I'm not saying productive is
It is.
making money. I'm talking about productive is focusing on yourself and everything else is going to follow after that. Right? Because if you focus on yourself, the self development, everything else is going to align in your life. Right? So you
Literally.
get those 4 extra hours, you wake up in the morning, you're good. Because after that, you set the rest of
Yeah.
your day, right? When you wake up, you don't scroll on social media, right? Even if you wake up,
Uh-huh.
even if
That's
you wake
right
up
there.
5 a.m., you scroll on social media. You're not gonna scroll on social. How many times we scroll on social media for an hour, then we get to work, right? You rather do that at
Mhm.
5 a.m. than 10 a.m. because you're gonna do that, and then now at 6 a.m. you still worked up. You still started your day way earlier than everybody. But at the same time, we want to use what God gave us as much as possible. You want to use God's life as much as
Amen.
possible that He gave given unto us, and we're grateful for that. So what we can handle with the
Yeah.
small, He's gonna give us more. He's gonna give us more time to
Yeah.
our day
Literally.
as we lean everything on Him. He's gonna give us more time to our day, right? So those 5 hours it adds up day by day, week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, year by year. You're gonna improve yourself exponentially because people think in the
Yeah.
now, but everything adds up. A year from now, you're gonna not look. You're gonna look back at yourself and you're gonna be like, "What the heck? Why? Because you have 1,800 more hours to your
Literally.
day. Duh, the
Mhm.
2 year.
Literally.
So, yeah, that's those are three books I recommend.
Come on, y'all. That was, bro, gas all the way. Gas all the way. So we're gonna go ahead and end the podcast right here. Before we go ahead and end, is there anything that you would like to say, like to anybody out there listening, any Christian, any Nigerian, any person that's like first starting college, anything like that? Like any just last words you want to
Man,
leave
just
us with?
keep going. That's why I say anything that you choose in this life, just keep going. Never give up. Choose one thing, and like I said earlier, choose something that's gonna be able to. You're gonna be able to reap the seeds exponentially, right? You don't want to plant. You don't want to put your seeds in bad soil. If you're putting all your
Yeah.
if you're putting your seeds in McDonald's, that's bad soil. Put your seeds in a business. Put your seeds in a job that's gonna be able to, you know, be able to produce those seeds, and then you can put it back into a business. But at the end of the day, you don't want to put your seeds in bad soil because at the end of the day, only get branches. You're gonna get weeds. You're not gonna get anything that's gonna grow a tree, a life, right? So you want to be able to put your seeds in a good soil and just don't give up. Just keep going
Yeah.
nonstop, no matter what anybody says. Don't pay attention to what anybody talks about with you. Don't care about any people's opinions, because on this path, like I said earlier, you're gonna be alone. So with that being
Mm.
said, there's gonna be a lot of people against you because they really want to be on your path. So a lot of people really want gonna project their insecurities and their deficiencies on you because they're in a similar area. They're like, how is Safon doing this? How is Eric doing this? Did he go to my college too? Didn't he? Isn't he a marketing major too? Like, isn't he in the college of business? Like, what makes him different from me? It's nothing. It's that we put our focus in something that's gonna bear fruit. We put out something and we just don't give up. If you don't give up, if you keep starting over, you can't build a plant. You can't grow any plants if you just keep starting over in the business, keep starting over in a job, keep switching jobs. You're not gonna be able to plant your seeds down and build a tree. So that's why I would say just find something that you're gonna bear the fruit. Don't give up. Just don't give up, and just keep going. You found a
I don't know. Dang, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I don't know if y'all can see that,
there
but
you
it's
go.
Galatians
Let
six
us not
nine.
get tired of doing good, for we will reap at a proper time. If we don't give up, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's not. It's see y'all. It's not even like what me and Safon are just saying or
This
we're
is in the
making up.
Bible.
This is
Everything I do
literally
is because
scripture.
I wake up early and I read that scripture and I apply it to my life, and it just comes out of me. And I don't.
Mm,
A lot of times, I know there's a lot
literally.
of Christians out there that just memorize verses. It doesn't matter if you have knowledge and you don't move your feet.
Mm,
It doesn't
yeah.
matter. Knowledge is nothing without using it.
Yeah.
It's really nothing because there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that invented light. There's a lot of people that invented electricity before Thomas Edison. But guess what? Who put
Yeah.
it to work? Who moved their feet? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like it's that specific, man.
Come
Yeah,
on,
I
bro.
can go off on I
That's
can go off on
that's so
tangent.
good,
Our conversations how they get.
bro. Literally, because I'm calling you after this, anyways. But y'all, I thank y'all so much. If y'all found any type of just value, which I know you had to have found value in this conversation in this podcast, make sure y'all leave a like, y'all subscribe, y'all comment, y'all shout us out to y'all friends. Of course, Safon, ATL fans only. You want to give your personal
Yeah,
social as well too?
follow ATL fans only. If you haven't followed yet, follow ATL rap page. Follow I got a lot of pages. ARP Threads. That's my clothing brand for ATL fans only.
Yep.
Um, I'm an insurance broker. I can help anybody get any type of insurance that you want. Life insurance. Um, you need
Come on,
it.
because you need
And
it.
if you have
You
more
need it.
questions about that, you can always hit my DM. I'm not Hollywood. I answer every
Hit 'em up.
DM. Even on ATL
Nah,
fans
for
only,
real.
people think I'm Hollywood, but I answer everybody. Only Safon, only, and then only S1FON. That's my personal,
There we go.
and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let's go. Thank y'all. We love y'all so much. Make sure y'all
But
tune
yeah,
into the
subscribe to my
next
YouTube.
podcast.
Subscribe to
Have
my
another
YouTube.
guest on there.
Safon,
Of course, subscribe to his
Safon
YouTube
Five
channel.
CS. I talk about if you want to get more details on everything. I post videos. Same thing I'm talking about here. Just more in depth.
Hmm. If you want more content like this, more knowledge like this from Safon,
Yes,
follow
sir.
that page. Yes, sir. But we love
Thank
y'all.
you
We
for
thank
having
y'all
me
so
here.
much for
Thank you for
tuning
having
in
me,
with
man.
us.
It's a blessing, man. You're a brother in
Come
Christ, man.
on. Thank you for training to the
Yeah.
call, brother. For sure, man. And make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe, comment, all of that. Bless up. No cap.